So today we are gonna cover the elephant in the room. And no, we're not talking about the fact that the 2024 Tacomas are coming. We're gonna talk about our 4 Tacomas that we've had on the channel in the past. And we had a short recently that came out that got more views than we typically do on our channel. It had about 60,000 views at the time of this recording, and it's probably got more since then. So we're gonna talk about why in the world, if we've had problems with our Tacomas, why do we keep on buying them? And we have a problem. We just love our Tacomas just too much.
Yep, we like our Tacomas a lot.
So the first truck that we're gonna cover is our 2021 Toyota Tacoma SR5 Trail Edition. Yes, an SR5. I know there's been a lot of people in the comments on the short who said that, oh, well, you guys, your problem is because you've been buying pros. It has nothing to do with it being a Pro, an SR5, an SR, or TRD Offroad. They're just Tacomas. But we have never owned a Pro, for the record. So the truck in question was made where?
Texas.
It was the only one out of all the Tacomas we owned that was made in Texas. It was right before they switched the plant down to their Mexico Baja plant. So the problem we had with this truck was the paint.
Had some paint flaws on it.
So why didn't we catch this at the dealership?
It was covered, it was dirty.
It was dirty. It was dirty. It was stormy when we purchased the truck. And so we didn't, nitpick it like we normally would. Honestly, usually we go around the truck with a fine-tooth comb, but it was stormy. We were excited to finally be getting a Tacoma.
Oh, I didn't have to worry about that.
Exactly. We thought we didn't have to worry about these things. So the next morning we went and we cleaned the truck, and that's when we found the paint flaws. And for the record, we know that the bottom of the truck is extra coated.
It's orange peel, it's double thick.
But this was not part of that. Apparently, this was a bad run of paint that was happening at the Texas facility. And Toyota actually had one of their guys who was coming out, he looked at it because it was gonna be a $5,000 paint job. It's a lot of money. And the question for this truck is, why didn't we keep it?
Because they traded us out.
They did. They traded us out.
For TRD Offroad.
And the other thing is that the third party who painted the Tacoma didn't do a great job locally here. They were switching owners at the time of when our paint job was being done. So the dealership that we did purchase the truck from did agree to switch out. It was their idea. We ended up getting that, and they have their own paint shop that was able to correct the missing clear coat that was done missing from inside the doors without too much hassle for the next owner. 2021 Toyota Tacoma TRD Offroad. And honestly, you were pretty excited about it because it's the one that you actually wanted from the beginning, but then the Trail Edition sounded like fun.
Yep, that's what I could get at the time was Trail Edition. Then I got to TRD Offroad and I liked it a lot. Had a lot of good features. All the off-road stuff I was looking for.
Exactly, the MTS system that we've never had on any other vehicle. We got to try that out. We did that in the San Juans when we went over Mineral Creek, which was super amazing.
Worked really well.
So honestly, the features of the Tacoma were very impressive from the beginning.
Right.
And so that's part of the reason why we love them so much. And why we put up with some of these little quirks that nobody likes talking about.
And they all have quirks, no matter which brand.
All do, they do. Even our Chevy Colorado, oh, it has quirks. And we will get into that in a separate video at some point, coming soon. But, so what was this one's problem? Since obviously the MTS was amazing, its off-road capability was amazing.
It had a body clunk.
Yes.
Body mount clunk.
So when we first took it off-road, it just made a tiny clunk, and it just kept progressively getting worse and worse as we went off-roading more. And we go off-roading a lot. If you've seen any of our videos on our channel, we off-road a lot of the time.
Yep, exactly.
So it was an easy fix for it to get done, but we decided we wanted something with a little more bed space, which led to 2022 Toyota Tacoma TRD Offroad Long Bed in Lunar Rock. And that's the one that most people have seen on this channel. It's got the most off-roading videos. It's the one we had the longest. And honestly, it was probably my favorite Tacoma out of all of the ones that we've had.
Mine too.
Crashing a Bronco event with your Toyota.
It's great. You take the long wheelbase right through the hard spot where the Broncos have been going, as you can see, pan down to these tire tracks. Bronco Badlands tire tracks. You scrape your back frame a tiny bit because you panic because you're hurrying. There's people behind you and lots of them watching. But Toyota does great. It's awesome. I love
and it's
it.
A long bed.
Long bed, yes.
So, what were its issues? Now we had the long bed, for about 12,000 miles, a little bit more than 12,000 miles. 13,000 miles. So, and most of those, it had a ton of off-road miles on it. It did Black Bear Pass, it did trails down in Moab, it did stuff around Blanding, Utah. It did a lot of different trails.
It did.
During its time. And we hauled and we did house projects with it. So we used it as a truck and an off-road truck. And so what issues did we find? Number one was on the trail in Moab, correct?
Yeah, transmission nut fell off.
Yes.
Roll down to, this isn't drive, see? It says drive. That's drive, that's park. And it still moves. And that wasn't fun. Had to drive home 2.5 hours without stopping.
Yes, so that was problem number one. And the other thing we noticed while we were on several other off-road trails is that sometimes would have a rear differential howl.
Yeah, just a little high-pitched noise sometimes from the rear end.
Which we've looked online through some of the different forums could lead to being a problem, but we didn't experience an actual problem with it.
Nope, it was
So we
fun.
weren't uber concerned with that. But the weirdest problem we encountered with it was on long trips, like from Kanab, Utah back to Colorado, or from St. George back to Colorado, which is about 6.5 to 7 hours, give or take, it would start to have a weird shift in between 5th and 6th after about 1 or 2 hours of highway driving. We had Toyota look at it. They said that they can't reproduce it, so it would probably be fine. Honestly, though, for being a long bed, it off-roaded great.
It did. Off-roaded well.
It did. So we decided that because of how long it was, especially on trails like Black Bear Pass, that we really wanted to go back to a short bed. That brings us to our current 2023 Toyota Tacoma TRD Offroad. And honestly, it's probably been the most difficult Tacoma we've owned. The other three, like the paint, not a big deal. The body mount, fixable. The stuff on the Lunar Rock, really, besides the nut, everything else seemed to be working fine.
It was fun, no problems.
And so why do we keep buying them? Because we love Tacomas. So we got the 23 because we wanted the short bed again. And honestly, it has been the most trying of the Tacomas just because I feel like it's the end of the model year run. And I don't know if, you get that with Chevys, you get that with Fords. It's something that can happen. So the first problem happened right off the lot.
Oh yeah, the air conditioning didn't work. I'm driving a 2022 TRD Offroad 4Runner. It's great.
So why are we in a 4Runner, honey?
Oh, that?
Yeah.
No big deal. My 2023 brand new one was 6 miles and it has no air conditioning. So it's back there getting looked at. Should be good. They're pumping coolant into it or whatever. So, and we're heading out to eat on the other end of town because the other restaurant was packed and we got a loaner with this baby. We're going to jump it afterwards. Stay tuned.
So we're kind of in limbo right now. We did all the paperwork. We traded in the truck, and now we're gonna see where we end up going home in.
And so for everyone,
it has air conditioning.
Yes.
It just didn't work. It wasn't charged from the factory.
Yes. Yeah, so it wasn't charged from the factory, so they ended up sending us to lunch in a 4Runner, and while they went and charged it, and they found out that basically they just didn't do it. And so everyone who was wondering, yes, Tacomas all come with air conditioning. It's not an option. It's not something you could be like, oh, cruise control like a Chevy. It's not that. It's the fact that they didn't charge it, but we found through several of the short comments that other people had a Tacoma that wasn't charged as well. So it is actually more of a common problem than you would think.
Right.
The one problem that can occur though, because it wasn't charged, is it doesn't stay cold as long as the other trucks. Like the Lunar Rock could freeze you out.
Right.
This one seems to not get as cold as the Lunar Rock, and I don't know if it's because of that or if it's just a quirk of this specific truck. The other issue, which we will cover, I don't know if we'll cover this in any more detail than this video, is when the bumper video for the replacement bumper is coming soon, but we found before we ripped off the bumper, well, the trailer lights were never working on our trailer. They work on the Chevy, but they don't work on the Tacoma. So the Tacoma has a gremlin. And so it likes to blow fuses when you plug in a very basic, simple trailer. We're not talking this is
just a 5x8 little trailer. Worked on all the other trucks, not this one.
Yeah, so it works on the Chevy, it works on other trucks, it works on a friend's truck we bought it from. It is just this specific truck, so we don't know if it's the wiring harness or if it's the fuse or something is wrong with it. So that's something we have to figure out. We went into
the warranties for, I guess.
Exactly. So we're installing the other bumper on it, and hopefully we'll track that down, or Toyota will track it down for us. But that one is probably, I want to say, the quirkiest Tacoma ever, because the other thing, which we don't know if it's just because when this one was built, is we found that the springs sag really bad on this one.
Well, a lot worse than the other ones.
Yeah, so the Lunar Rock had like, what was it, 17 inches?
Yeah, 16 and a half, 17 to the bottom of the hitch.
This one has 14.
Yes, 14 even.
And
the other white one was the same, and the other white one was the same. 16 and a half, 17 inches. This one's 14.
So we're wondering if this one is just, this is what they have left over when they built it?
From the factory.
Or they put the wrong springs on. We're not sure. That's something we got to talk to the dealership about at some point, because we haven't really loaded anything in this one. We took it, we've taken it on a few trips, and that's about it. So
a suitcase.
A suitcase and a cooler shouldn't sag your springs.
Not that much.
Because the Lunar Rock was loaded to the gills when we took it down to Orderville last year.
5 people plus all their gear. So.
Exactly. So, and it didn't sag at all. And so honestly, we're wondering what was up with this truck, but you know what? We still love it.
Still a nice truck. Still a Tacoma. It'll be fine. They'll fix it.
Exactly. So if you're questioning whether to buy a 23 or 24, I would say it depends on what you're looking for.
Right. Depends what features you want.
So we hope that you love the Tacomas too, and that even with their funky little quirks, you know they're still a capable rig and they're still amazing. And we hope that you found this video helpful. So if you have problems with your Tacoma, you know you're not alone out there, but you know, they're quirky. They're just like any other vehicle, any other manufacturer. And it's just something, I hate to say it, it's like buying a Land Cruiser. You're just willing to put up with it because you like them so much. All the positives outweigh your negatives.
Yep.
So we hope that you enjoyed this video. We hope that you like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And we will hopefully see you out there on the trail soon. And hopefully we'll have a new Tacoma bumper on soon.